And there's many, many different iterations of the choice of surrender. There's infinite iterations. So I chose one yesterday, choosing another one today. I'm choosing the fact that I'm surrendering to the fact that in any moment, with the requisite quotient of belief, faith, light, sovereignty, I can lay a marker point down in time in which I say, from this point forward, I'm going to embody a different version of myself, or I'm going to hold a different belief that sponsors a greater self-concept, or I declare this is going to now take root in my reality. I declare I plant this seed in this moment, and it will spring, it will sprout into a mighty oak at the appropriate season. There's many different iterations, there's many different ways in which that choice can look. That real strong, quantum anchored, I'm going to say, weird phrase, but what I'm trying to communicate is something which is sponsored by the quantum. That's a better way of saying it. Sponsored by that holding energy rather than being rooted in any limiting finite constructs, right? Because that's what survival is. Survival is a limiting finite construct. Being lost out in the wilderness. Essentially, this is the metaphor that I came to for myself tonight. And I realized, oh, yeah, right. What I've been doing all these months, all these years, living in truth, decades actually, when I think back, as I've been choosing survival, as I've been choosing lack, and as I've been choosing to live in a state of perceived, scarcity, I've been lost in this wilderness, and the hunting hasn't been great, the foraging hasn't been great. There's not been a lot around me. There's not been a lot of resources to really thrive. It has been survival. It was a survival situation, right? That's the story. But the thing is, when I make this choice and say, right, I'm surrendering now, what am I surrendering to? What does that surrender look like? And for me, in this instance, it was coming home to the heart, to the temple of peace in the heart of plenty, coming back to the great fires, the great hearth of the heart, taking residency again, and opening the door to God, because God's always there. God's always waiting. God won't come and use real forceful means to gain entry. Might make a lot of noise, but will never force entry. God needs to be allowed in. And so, in being lost in this journey of survival out in the wilderness for so many years, all I needed to do was just come back home to the realization that in any moment, rather than placing all of my energy and my bandwidth into a moment in time where all of my requirements for safety had to be met, instead, I just manifested that quality. I manifested the quality of my safety. And let's be real, right? It's been a long time getting to that point where that choice can be made. There's been a lot of struggle and strife, right? I'm presenting kind of the end of it now, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more of these moments. But the reason I'm sharing this is because it's so fucking important to celebrate your victories. It is. Like, we need to own them, and we need to share them as story. Anyways, this moment tonight was so raw, so profound, was so embodied. I was so taken aback by what I experienced. I didn't really know how to contain it. Like, I do a lot of voice noting, and like, this is a video journal essentially. And I'm like, how do I denote? How do I label this thing, this story that I've just told, or that I'm going to tell, on my phone? So I'm like, this is like one of the greatest things you ever said kind of deal. Like it literally was. Like the story that I shared before coming on here was like, had the feels. There's loads of stuff I've not been able to weave in, but you know, some of it's going to remain sacred, and there's beauty in that. But yeah, danced to Celebration by Kool and the Gang, and then it came to me as I was dancing. It's like, oh yeah, that's how I make that choice. That's how I answer that question for myself. Because I did a video ages ago about survival and surrender, and I looked back on it recently. I'm like, yeah, have I answered that question yet fully for myself? Because I make these videos knowing full well sometimes that the idea that I'm presenting isn't really fully embodied. And I mention that most times. I really go out my way to like say, yeah, this is a journey, it's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, it came full circle tonight. It really came full circle. Anyways, I'm yapping. Don't even know if I'm going to release this. This actually started out as a video journal. So, yeah, if you see it, great. If not, then it's just for me and you, Sam. Alright. Lots of love. Take care.